So I got this recipe from Tofu Dad on YouTube, so check him out. It is absolutely amazing chicken seitan. So the broth we're going to be cooking it in is 5 cups of broth, 1 teaspoon of poultry seasoning, half a teaspoon of pepper, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, and he uses 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. But I didn't have that, and he said you could use barbecue sauce in replace, but I didn't have that either, so then I just made my own up with a couple drops of liquid smoke, about a third a cup of molasses, and a teaspoon of ketchup. And it turned out so good. But you can do whatever you'd like. And then we're going to cook our seitan in that mixture. So our seitan is almost all these ingredients are kind of used over and over again. So 3 tablespoons of nooch, 1 teaspoon of poultry seasoning, half a teaspoon of salt and pepper, a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of Cajun, a teaspoon of tomato paste, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, and then I did a cup of water as well. Then I stirred it up really well. He also used Worcestershire again and milk, but I didn't want to use that. But you can do whatever you'd like. And then I did 1 cup of vital wheat gluten and 1 cup of flour because I find vital wheat gluten to be very potent and I like to cut it with a different flour, but you don't have to do that either. This is just how I did it. Then it's going to activate the vital wheat gluten once you put it in, so don't knead it too much. You're going to mix it up well so that there's no clumps or anything, and then don't knead it too much. You're just going to roll it out to about half an inch to an inch thick, and then cut it up. And then once your broth is boiling, you're going to put your big pieces in there, and it's going to boil for about 20 to 25 minutes. Then we're going to make our dry mix. It is 1 cup of flour, half a teaspoon of salt and pepper, 1 teaspoon of poultry seasoning, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 4 tablespoons of nooch, 1 teaspoon of paprika, and 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Now I found at the end the chicken was just a little bit salty, so you can leave out salt and then just add it at the end because I found it was a bit salty, but it was very delicious. So just whisk it up really well. Here I'm just checking to make sure my pieces are not sticking to the bottom of my pot there. And then the wet ingredients for your wet mix batter is 1/4 a cup of non-dairy milk, 1/4 a cup of water, 3 tablespoons of mustard, or you can use mayo. He used ground mustard, I believe, but I only had normal mustard and it turned out fine. Half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of pepper, 2 tablespoons of flour, and a tablespoon of nooch with a half a teaspoon of the poultry seasoning again. And then you're going to mix it up really well. I put a little bit more water in there to make it more battery, but other than that, it was perfect. And then yeah, so there's your dry mix batter and your wet. So once your 20 to 25 minutes are up for these yummy seitan steaks here, they're going to start to look nice and thick and yummy. And then you're going to take them off the heat and somewhere to cool so that you could pick them up and cut them into the chunks that you want. It smells so good. So I know there's lots of steps, but it's really worth it because they turn out so bomb. So one of mine fell apart too, which is totally fine because we're just going to put them in little chunks. So I experimented. I did bigger pieces, I did smaller pieces, and it was really cool. It makes it more authentic, I think, when they're different sizes, but you can do whatever you want. So once those are cool enough to touch to put in your batters, you're going to put a big frying pan with some oil, and then you're going to put it in your dry mix one by one, then your wet mix, and then your dry mix again. So I recommend doing one hand with the wet and one hand with the dry, or else you're going to get batter all over both of your fingers and you're going to lose all your yummy seasoning. And then once they're all coated, you're going to plop them in your ready oil. Sorry about the camera there. And then you're going to flip them when they're done. Or if you have a deep fryer, then you can totally do that too or whatnot. But I didn't have enough oil to submerge them, so I just did it one side and then the other. And look at how frigging authentic looking these look. It looks like chicken, like fried chicken. And the first bite was just unbelievable. Like, I can't wait till you guys try this out. It is so cool. But yeah, the only thing that I would change with my recipe would be less salt, because I'm just a person that doesn't like too much salt. So, but if you like salt, then it'll be perfect. And then I made some yummy homemade biscuits and some corn, and it was so delicious. Anyways, check out Tofu Dad on YouTube and enjoy.